Welcome back to the Jersey Oddcast, where local news meets a little chaos, a whole lot of commentary, and just enough odd to keep things interesting. This week, we're talking big changes and bigger moments from Allen Rich's closing on Route 54 to public hearings that could shape Hammonton's future to major projects in Egg Harbor City. We'll celebrate George Cappuccio, reflect on the passing of Father Tom Donio, and sit down with Steve Cooper for a conversation you will not want to miss. We've also got pop culture twists, a merch push, because obviously, an odd poll, an odd fact, your Castone forecast, and the Rocco's Townhouse community calendar. This is Joseph F. Berenato, Gabriel J. Donio, and me, Gina Rullo, and we're the Jersey Oddcast.
Yes,
So,
we are.
guys,
Yeah, you've got that right, Gina.
went to Route 54, Allen Rich's, and we got gas on, what was it, Saturday? And then we got the thing, and it says they're closing on the 16th, and it was sad.
Yeah.
I've been going to get their gas there for 30 years.
They've been there for 35, I think.
I've only been in town 28, almost 29.
Still, that's a streak.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long time they've been there. Very long time. But
And they're going to still be obviously open on the White Horse Pike. Let's make this clear.
Yes, and go get your car washed, get your oil changed, do all the things there. Can't get a donut anymore. Bayside Donuts hasn't been there in a while.
I not only miss Bayside Donuts, I miss the commercial for Bayside Donuts where Allen Rich's are just handing out donuts like cream, sugar, jelly. I'm like, man, you guys need to, because now when you go and you get your oil changed, I appreciate that they still have like Entenmann's or Tasty Cake donuts, but there was something about being able to go to Bayside Donuts. I'd ride my bike there in high school, get some donuts, get a sandwich, get a glass jar of Jolt Cola, and I'd be good to go for the longest time.
I don't remember. I don't know the commercial. I wonder if it's on YouTube.
Oh, I bet it.
It'd be great if it was.
Do you remember the commercial, Gabe?
Yeah, I do.
So much fun. Yeah.
I do. It was a fun commercial, and those guys worked hard and work hard. In fact, I want to be clear. Rich of Allen Rich.
I know where you're going.
Was indeed working the car wash as we drove through it and worked on our car to help brush it down and get the salt off it, because if you went to the last days of Route 54, you got a free car wash as part of stopping by. And they also gave out flowers, which they do.
Because it was Valentine's Day.
These are the little things that we'll miss because it's not corporate. It's very much local. It's very much like you said about the donut shop back in the day. But even today, all these years later, you drive up and there's Rich himself, and in a hoodie, which is great. He's trying to keep himself as dry as possible, but
and warm.
I think that's what we love about Hammonton and South Jersey is that it still has that local flavor.
Yeah,
and that's now why is the 54?
We've talked about it on the show.
Wawa.
Yes, that's what's next. Another large Wawa with pumps, and that'll change the landscape of 12th Street quite a bit.
No doubt. No doubt.
I like Wawas for those things, but when it comes to my gas, I've always tried to go to Allen Rich's if I'm in town, just because I like to support the locally owned business.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, Gabe, Rich out there, you get your rose on Valentine's Day. I even had my windshield cleaned. Like, it's just those little moments that really do make that difference. If they could just bring back the donuts and the Jolt Cola for Joe, it would be perfect. Life would be perfect.
Yeah. Except for all that sugar. I think that might be.
Yeah.
Definitely
a much different jolt to my system. Yeah.
If anybody out there can find the old Allen Rich's commercial, please send it our way. We will be happy to broadcast it on this podcast because we have a sense of humor. So that would be fun.
And it's great. It's a fun commercial. Joe's right. It just the two of them handed out donuts. It's well done. It's so memorable that we're still talking about it decades later.
Yeah.
Joe and I.
Al, Rich, Fred, great family. Love seeing them on about the property and continue to see them at the Route 30 property.
Yeah, the Wentz deserve a lot of credit for everything they built up during the years, and we wish them well as this place closes, but as they double down and put more effort into the White Horse Pike location.
Joe, there's a birthday celebration coming up for a fairly aged resident of the community of Hammonton, correct?
Yes, that is correct. On Saturday, February 21st, the Hammonton American Legion Post 186 will celebrate the birthday of World War II veteran George Cappuccio, who will turn 105 years old that day. Cappuccio served in the U.S. Army Infantry from October of 42 to October of 45, including the Battle of Monte Cassino, which raged from January 17th to May 19th, 1944. After the war, George married Agatha Philo, and the couple and their 4 children enjoyed a long life together until Agatha's passing in 2023. For the birthday celebration, the American Legion Rider Post 352 will be escorting Mr. Cappuccio at 12:30 p.m. from Pratt Street, giving him a hero's ride through the town of Hammonton down Bellevue Avenue. All Hammonton residents are encouraged to participate by lining both sides of Bellevue, waving flags and cheering our town's hero. At 3:30 p.m., members of the public are encouraged to join the Legion in cutting his cake at the Post Hall at 101 French Street.
That's an incredible tribute and an incredible life lived. You've interviewed Mr. Cappuccio.
Yes, such a nice. And if I can just divert for a second, the story that he tells about how he and Agatha met, I'm going to paraphrase it here, but essentially, he used to go roller skating with this one girl. And every time he would go, he would ask her, "Do you want to dance?" And she said, "I'll think about it. I'll think about it." Every time they went. So one time he went, and there was this girl that he'd never seen before. And he was feeling a little adventurous. And so he said, "Do you want to dance?" And she said, "Sure, let me take my coat off." That was Agatha. That's how they met, and they got
How
married.
about
You don't
And they
hear
kept
stories,
dancing.
and they
They just
kept
danced.
dancing. You don't hear stories like that anymore.
No,
a great story?
I
Yeah,
love that. And that
Wonderful.
I think that's one of the great things about being a journalist is that you get to meet people like that and have those stories that just kind of sit in your pocket when you need to take them out.
yeah, and there's stories that you never forget, and you're right. That's one of the best parts about being a journalist: hearing stories like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, God bless him. 105 years. What a
Yeah,
wonderful tribute this will be for him and really for the whole town to get involved. So everybody get out there. All the oddballs listening right now, this is a nice thing to participate in and really be a part of the community as we celebrate really a life well lived.
oh yeah.
And that's what makes Hamilton special and a great place to live, work, and play. And if you're looking to relocate your home or your business to Hamilton or anywhere in South Jersey, call Phil Carr of Crowley and Carr.
That's right, Gina. If you're looking to buy or sell your home or commercial property in South Jersey, call Phil Carr, owner of Crowley and Carr Real Estate. Crowley and Carr is the best place in town to find the best place in town. Call them at 609 561 0505 or go to Facebook or Instagram.
Thank you. On Saturday, February 14th, Gabe and I were at the funeral for the Reverend Thomas S. Donio. He was not only a cousin of Gabe's and mine, he was also the former parish priest for Hamilton.
He was the pastor, in fact, and the first pastor of the parish that became the founding pastor of St. Mary of Mount Carmel parish in Hammonton, the Roman Catholic parish in Hammonton. And the Reverend Thomas S. Donio, 72, of Hammonton, passed at home on Sunday, February 8th, 2026. He was born in Philadelphia, and he was a lifelong resident of Hammonton. Father Donio graduated from Rowan University in Glassboro and Rutgers University in New Brunswick. Art and music were very important to him. He played in several bands and orchestra ensembles. This is all according to his obituary from the Carnersale Funeral Home. And Father Tom was ordained a priest on May 20th, 1995 at St. Peter's Church in Merchantville by Most Reverend James T. McHugh. Father Tom served as a parochial vicar at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish, Absecon, St. Mary's Parish, Williamstown, and St. Thomas More Parish, Cherry Hill. He served as administrator and pastor at Nativity Parish, Franklinville, and as pastor at St. Martin de Porres, St. Joseph Parish, and St. Anthony of Padua Parish, all of Hammonton. As we said, he was the founding pastor of St. Mary of Mount Carmel Parish in Hammonton, then served as chaplain at Ancora State Hospital in Winslow Township until his death. Father Tom also served on both the Diocesan Liturgical Commission and Diocesan Presbyterial Council, as well as chaplain for the Our Lady of Mount Carmel Society in Hammonton and the Knights of Columbus Padre Pio Council. And personal note is just that he was a good-hearted, intelligent, funny person
Yeah.
who, as a cousin, really believed in those family ties. We would go out to dinner, myself, Father Tom, and Gina, and just laugh and just enjoy ourselves and enjoy each other's company. But if you go to Carnesale Funeral Home's website, you'll see comment after comment, and I'm sure Gina can attest on Facebook, that says so many beautiful things about Father Tom. And I think it says something that at his funeral, it was celebrated by the Most Reverend Joseph A. Williams, who is, of course, the Bishop of the Diocese of Camden. And there were so many priests there from the diocese who came out and in full support and mourning for Father Tom, and so many people in St. Anthony's at that day. So I just think a tremendous amount of flowing of support and love for Father Tom. I don't know.
I think for me, the funeral was absolutely lovely. And Father Christopher Marcellus, who used to be in Hammonton, he worked with Father Tom. He used to be like the head of religious education, I think, at St. Joseph High School. If you've ever gotten ashes from Father Marcellus, you never forget them because he puts them on with a Sharpie. But he gave such a lovely homily and he had us laughing because he did a dead on impression of Father Tom. And it was brilliant. And I think we needed that moment of levity. And I think Tom would have appreciated it.
Yeah.
He asked for it. I think he said to Father Chris when Father Chris served with him, "I want you to do my funeral mass because I want them laughing. I know you do impressions and an impression of me. So he didn't want it all sad. I won't do an impression, but
It was.
Father Michaelis was unbelievably on point.
And then there was something that so we laughed, we were sad, and then we got teary eyed with something that the bishop said.
That was right at the end of the mass, and we were talking, and the bishop was addressing the assembled people, and he said, "We need more Father Toms." And I think at that moment, it was everybody who knew Father Tom would agree that statement was true, and you could feel it in the room. And it was a remarkable tribute from the bishop himself to Father Tom for him to be there, for him to celebrate the Mass, but also for him to say what he said. Such nice words.
And I
Yeah.
believe now Father Tom is now a resident with you, Joe.
He is. He right after the funeral, he moved in. He is with his parents. I liked Father Tom. I like he was so kind. He wasn't just a good man. He wasn't just a good priest. As we say, like he was good people. Just in general, he wasn't just nice. He was kind. He was funny. And what I really appreciated is that you had to listen because sometimes and I know that you know this well and knew this better, but he could be sharp tongued.
Oh yeah,
Oh, he
But
was
it,
still a
but
Donia.
yeah,
yes, but it was so couched in honey that
yeah.
you thought that he learned how to do that down south because it was just
Bless your
dripping
heart.
and
Yeah.
saccharine. But you're like,
Crushed,
the hell did you just say to me?
crushed it up in the applesauce. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying, Joe?
that's
Yeah.
exactly it. Yeah,
I do want to make a point of Father Tom was my cousin, and how that was is that his father and my grandfather were brothers, and my grandfather was Frank Donio. His father, Salvatore, we all called him Uncle Buddy,
hmm
and that's how we're related. So there's a tie there. And as in most things in Hamilton, it's condensed down. Your brothers are you're extremely close. Your cousins that are first and second cousins are almost like siblings. It's an interesting dynamic in Hamilton where things are all a little closer,
yeah.
and they certainly were with us.
Yeah, and I think we hit a good Donio number in the church. I felt like that was good. And nothing blew up, so that was positive.
We'll take that.
Oh yeah, we'll take it.
I
The
mean,
walls didn't bleed. No statues crying or anything.
no,
Okay.
no,
No one turned into ash.
no, so
No
that was
pillars
good.
of salt.
And I just again, Father Tom was so kind, such a good man. And Gabe just talked to him a couple weeks ago. someone had a like religious question, so Gabe's always called Father Tom, and you could just call him up and ask him anything. And he really was like that, very devoted to church life, working at Ancora, bringing God to people who didn't have access to a regular community and parish. Dedicated musician, played the flute beautifully. I hoped he would have liked the music at his funeral because it was outstanding. Kelly Fallon, remarkable as always, and with other people there performing with her, just lovely music all the way around. And he loved his family, his pets. He's just a good man and a loss not only for the community but for the Diocese of Camden as well.
But I want to
Absolutely.
make this point. You said I talked to him a few weeks before he passed, and I think it's very telling that I had a question out of the blue that someone had asked me, and I said, okay, I'll call Father Tom because he'll know. And he did. But not only did we interact and talk about that, then we laughed and talked about some other things and enjoyed each other's company on the phone a little while. And then he called me back and had an additional insight that he had thought of and called me back to tell me you might want to talk to this person as well. And it just so emblematic of
Mhm.
who he was. And we laughed. And again, I'm so glad I called him. And I'm so glad I had the opportunity to talk to him before he passed because he was one of the, like I said, like you said, Joe, he was good people,
Yeah.
good people.
In very different news, Egg Harbor City is looking for input on a plan for Philadelphia Avenue.
Yes, that is very different news. But according to a release from February 13th, Egg Harbor City residents are invited to provide public comments regarding the Atlantic County Highway Improvement Project, which is planned for Philadelphia Avenue, County Route 563, from Route 30 to the area south of Egg Harbor City Lake Park. The public was advised about the project at the February 12th City Council meeting by the Atlantic County Department of Regional Planning and Development, and residents have 15 days from the date of that meeting to provide comment. The federally funded project includes resurfacing the roadway along with limited infrastructure improvements. Sorry, that was awkwardly written. My apologies. Interested persons may submit written comments to Atlantic County Engineer John Musto, PE, Atlantic County Department of Regional Development and Planning, 201 New Road, Northfield, New Jersey, 08225. Copies of the preliminary plans are available for public viewing at www.atlanticcountyenj.gov/home/components/calendar/2618/17.
We're
And
slashing a lot.
we're slashing everywhere. Musto's presentation at the February 12th meeting can be viewed on Egg Harbor City's YouTube channel.
I like
So,
that they're going to be fixing up Philadelphia Avenue. It's
mhm.
such a beautiful street. It has so many opportunities. I've looked through the plans. I can't say that I really understand everything that they're doing because there's like little measurements and I think there's some widening and they talk about the top of asphalt they need and all that. So there's some of that I'm not really sure I understand all of it. And there's a lot of detail on there, but go look at it if you live or own a business along that area
Yep.
or from Egg Harbor City because you do need to know what's going on, turning lanes, things like that. Again, you can't complain if you don't pay attention or you willfully choose not to pay attention. You need to know what's going on, so take a look at these plans and find out what's happening.
Yeah.
And just because it's 40 pages or whatever it may be does not mean don't let that intimidate you.
Yeah, no, don't get bogged down by that. You just take your time, go through it. And you're right. If you don't participate, you can't. I almost said a dirty word. If you don't participate, you can't complain. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're family friendly here, mostly.
we are.
That's right. We try to be.
And we've been through this in Hammonton with 54. Gabe, we did that.
Yeah. There were hearings and different things.
Yeah.
Sure, of course.
And anytime
If
there's
you're
a government project like this, there's a public comment portion where they encourage people to participate.
and if you're going to be looking at these plans and you're doing like this and you're squinting at the screen, maybe you need to go to Hammonton Family Eye Care.
That's right, Gina. And you should see Hammonton Family Eye Care for routine and medical eye care for all ages, from glasses to contacts to eye exams and more. Visit Hammonton Family Eye Care, Peachtree Plaza, 80 South Whitehorse Pike in Hammonton. Call 609-567-7479 or go to hammontonfamilyeyecare.com.
Now, I know that most of our viewers may not see this until after the fact, but there is a public hearing on February 18th for Hammonton for a grant program.
That's right, Gina. At the Town Hall Council chambers on February 18th at 4 p.m., there's going to be, and those chambers are located in Town Hall at 100 Central Avenue in Hammonton, a small cities community development block grant program public hearing. And that is for the 2026 Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program. And the purpose of the hearing is as follows: one, to explain federal and state guidelines; two, to review eligible and proposed program activities; three, to consider proposals for an application under the Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program; and four, to receive citizen comments and recommendations. Now, total funds available in this program are $6,672,195. At least 70% of the funds available must be used for activities that primarily benefit people of low and moderate income. None of the funds requested will result in the displacement or relocation of people. Before we get into what the eligible activities include, Gina, did you say that how much they're going out for with the grant? Do we
According to
know?
what I read, the town of Hammonton is considering the submission of a public facilities application for $400,000 for a project yet to be determined.
Okay, so there's a $400,000 application that's going to be made to that fund from the state. That's a total of 6.6 million available, and that 70% of the funds that we receive must be used for activities that primarily benefit people of low and moderate income. And none of the funds requested, again, will result in the displacement or relocation of people. I'm going to make a little list here. Bear with me, but eligible activities do include: one, the acquisition of real property; two, activities necessary to address lead-based paint issues through lead remediation and abatement activities and the replacement of lead pipes; three, acquisition, construction, or installation of public facilities; four, code enforcement in deteriorated or deteriorating areas; five, clearance, demolition, and rehabilitation of buildings; six, special projects to remove architectural barriers which restrict the accessibility of the elderly and the handicapped; seven, provision of public services, excuse me; eight, activities necessary to develop a comprehensive community development plan; and policy planning management capacity to enable the recipient to more effectively administer the program; nine, payment of reasonable administrative costs; and 10, activities carried out by the public or private nonprofit organizations. So, again, as Gina stated, the town of Hammonton is considering the submission of a public facilities application for $400,000 for a project yet to be determined, and all citizens are encouraged to attend and offer comments at the public hearing or by writing to Town Hall, 100 Central Avenue, Hammonton, New Jersey, 08037. Attention, administrator, within 10 days of the public hearing, which is passed. So at this point, you can also send written comments to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, Grant Development and Contract Administration Unit, P.O. Box 811, Trenton, New Jersey 08625-0811. So this is something that I think will have some impact. We don't know what the project is, but we do know that $400,000 will be applied to it, and we do
Mhm.
know from the list of what I just read to you that there will be action taken if the money is received. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that sounds accurate.
Joe, have you heard anything in any of the council meetings, what they've been talking about, or anything at the Environmental Commission that you could share?
Nothing at the EC. I do know that there were a number of projects that they talked about at the special meeting of council last week, which was essentially Rob Charlet going over the costs and so forth for the town ahead of putting together proposed budgets.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're trying to get this because they're looking for money to help with the Route 54 project, replacing and putting in new water mains. I don't know if this would fall under that because I don't think that there's a lot of lead and galvanized lines along Route 54, but I know that they have been trying to coordinate the replacement of those water lines for years in conjunction with what the state is doing to redo Route 54. And they did say that they were going to be applying for various funds. So I don't know if this is involved with that. I don't know if this is for bathroom facilities at the park. I have no idea.
Are
Because I
you
know
going
they
to
were
go on the 18th?
probably not. I'll probably be at work.
Okay.
4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's usually pretty tricky for me.
And anything else from the February 9th meeting? Just usual or old school budget hearing, back doing it earlier rather than, let's say, at June or something?
It was a bit old school. I haven't seen anything like this since I started paying attention, where they actually talk about the numbers
It's been a while.
before they go over the budget. This was ahead of the departments submitting their proposed budgets for the following year.
Used to do something similar way back when.
Yeah. And it's nice to see this now so that people don't have nearly as many questions when budget time comes around. But costs have gone up. Always. Everybody's costs have gone up.
Yeah.
Insurance, I think, went up something like 10%, give or take. So everything is going up. And it's a question of, okay, if everything is going up except revenue, we've got to maybe tighten this and tighten that and so forth. So
It could be like they're trying to get us ready, anyone who owns property in the town of Hammonton, for a tax increase.
very possible. Very possible.
But we shall see, right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
If you're looking to add a fence or replace a fence on your property this spring, think about calling Master Wire.
Yes, because for more than 40 years, Master Wire Manufacturing Fence Company has been providing the South Jersey and tri-state area with residential and commercial fence supplies and services. Whether you're looking for quality products that do it yourself or are in need of a trustworthy fencing company to install your fence, they've got you covered. Master Wire Manufacturing Fence Company provides the highest quality products and customer service to each and every person who walks through their doors or gives them a call. Contact Master Wire at 609-567-1616 or visit their website at masterwirefence.net.
And if you're feeling a little peckish, need something to eat, head over to the Silver Coin Diner. If you go on Thursdays, you can get their split pea soup. It is one of the best I've ever had, second to my mother's. And I think it's really the croutons that do it for me for their split pea soup.
It is the croutons, yes.
Nothing takes care of being peckish like croutons and the split pea soup at the Silver Coin Diner. That's
On Thursdays.
only on Thursdays.
Yes.
Let's make that point. Located in the heart of South Jersey between Philadelphia and Atlantic City, the Silver Coin Diner is a family-owned restaurant. It has served South Jersey since 1982. It gleams like a 50s diner on the outside and is warm and inviting on the inside. The Silver Coin is famous for serving quality food at family-friendly prices. This rock star of a diner is on the cutting edge of restaurant trends, constantly updating its menu and introducing new healthy specials. Everyone at the Silver Coin is eager to please. So if you are in the area or passing through, stop in their location at 20 South Whitehorse Pike in Hammonton and let them treat you like family. Contact the Silver Coin Diner at 609-561-6974 or visit their website at silvercoindiner.net.
Welcome back to the Jersey Oddcast, and we are so excited to welcome Steve Cooper. He is the host of Cooper Talk, a very popular podcast which features celebrities, and we've happened to feature that several times in the newspaper when we were with the paper. He is well known in South Jersey for his amazing networking skills, and that's how I first met Steve just about 6 years ago. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the South Jersey Chamber of Commerce, networking, the pandemic, all of that.
I was living in LA and I moved back because I couldn't afford a house in LA. They're so expensive. And when I came back, a friend of mine, Mike Colino, owned Coit Cleaning and Restoration. And he said, "You want to do business development?" Now, I had been in sales when I was younger, and I did my whole career was stand-up comedy, then entertainment, then I was in corporate marketing for restaurants in LA. And I really learned a little bit how to network. And I said, "Yeah, what's it include?" And he goes, "Go out and meet people, talk about our business." So I just started. My first thought was a chamber of commerce because that's where you're going to meet new businesses. I was new to the area. I grew up in Cherry Hill, but I was gone for 25 years. So I really didn't, all the people I went to high school with, either they were lawyers or doctors or they owned their own companies. So I just started going to events, and I went to the South Jersey Chamber, and they were very welcoming. And I started from there. I just started networking and finding events and stuff to go. That's how I met you through the South Jersey Chamber. And yeah, and then basically for my networking, when the pandemic happened, I had to pivot. And I thought, why don't I try to do a online networking event? Which I remember I was sitting with Joe Velez, who's runs a phone company. We were at Jay's Elbow Room on Route 73 after a Chamber of Commerce event. We knew it was coming. We knew stuff was getting, like we knew the pandemic. We knew something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I said, what? Maybe I should do something online. What do you think about that? I said, I don't know. I said, no one's going to show up because when you host something, you don't have the confidence. My background is entertainment, so I'm 50% insecure. I'm 50% narcissistic. It's a weird combination.
It's a good half and half.
But it's true. Like you want the attention, but when you get it, you go, I don't deserve it. And
oh, that's accurate.
I don't know if I should do this. And I remember I still have the old rosters from back in the day of who would show up. Because back then I would write the names out, and 13 people showed up, and I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, people are interested. Now, I didn't know it would go to being Tuesday and Thursday with 60 to 65 people showing up, but that's how I got involved. I just got involved, and that's, I said, how I met you, and I ended up writing for the Hammonton Gazette, which that's the thing about networking. I never expected any of this to happen, where now I do a monthly event where I get 5 sponsors and 60 people show up, which, once again, only 15 showed up the first one. I didn't think anything would come of that.
No, it was really remarkable because you really kept us all together during the pandemic. And when we were only seeing the people in our bubble, it was good to see other faces, especially outside of Hammonton being such a small bubble. It was good to see that larger South Jersey area and still talk about business and the challenges and just to meet new faces. And I found it invaluable when I was there. And so thank you for that.
It was such a weird time when you think back. It's so weird to think it was 6 years ago. And I still remember right before we shut down, me and my wife were married for 6 months. Thank God we got our wedding in before the pandemic.
Fair.
It was St. Patty's Day, actually. It was the day before I met my friend Jamie McCarthy at Zed's Brewery because they have really good red Irish ale. And I sat there, and I never thought when I sat there drinking that beer, and I got a 4-pack because I like to support local business. When I brought it home, I never thought all of a sudden we wouldn't be able to go out. Now, when you've been married even though me and my wife lived together, we were already 6 months married, and it's very weird when all of a sudden you're married and she's everywhere. It's not really when you live together, you can go out, but it was a scary time, and I think we were all scared. And some of the chambers weren't stepping up to the plate. They weren't getting people together, and that's when we needed something. And it's funny. It opened, like, I would have never met you, Gina. I would have never driven to Hammonton. I would have never gone to Pennsylvania. I would have, because I was in South Jersey for the business I was working for. And we met so many people, and the people who didn't want to get on the Zoom networking really hurt themselves in business. But if you wanted to get out there and meet people, you met people through online. And I think it really, into my eyes, it reinvigorated networking, because Hammonton's different. I went to the Hammonton happy hour. Hammonton's great. Hammonton's this little bubble, and it's amazing. I always say it hasn't been inundated by the idiots that we network with. It's all good people. But other places aren't like that. And really, the pandemic changed how networking is now and just the whole business environment.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I completely agree. I think it's been really beneficial to see how Hammonton networks and then to get into the other ways of networking to see the contrast. Like you said, Hammonton is special in its own way. I think the 3 of us are products of that.
Yep. Yeah. We always do things a little differently here.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I see you have a Stockton pennant.
Oh, yeah.
I graduated Stockton alum.
Let me tell you something real quick about Hammonton. People don't know is Hammonton has the best Mexican food. Now, someone who grew up in Cherry Hill and went to the Mexican food factory, which closed, moved to LA, I remember going to Dodgers games, and my buddy was Latino, and he would drive in like this awful neighborhood, and we get like tacos for 60 cents of some dude cooking them on the lawn, and they were great. And then I come back here and I go back to the Mexican food factory. I said to my wife, Joanne, I'm like, but they don't have chili rellenos. I said, what kind of Mexican restaurant doesn't have chili rellenos? Now you go to Hammonton, you guys have the best Mexican food, hands down, in the area. So I just want to say, but yeah, I graduated Stockton in 86. I'm old.
Hey, it beats the alternative. Let's face it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
It absolutely beats the alternative.
How has Stockton changed from when you were there to now? I'm sure like you've been back on campus. It's changed quite a bit. I did not go there, but I've seen changes just in my 20 some odd years in this area.
Yeah, because that was
Stockton,
still Stockton State College then,
yes,
correct?
yes. And it's funny because my name is Steven Scott Cooper. My T-shirt with SSC, and I was like, yes, my initials on his shirt. The one thing was there wasn't any merch. There was like a few T-shirts. Now I see Stockton stuff everywhere, and I loved Stockton. And when I went there, it was great. It was like the Wild West. Though we had a bar on campus. We had. I mean, my freshman year, Marshall Tucker played the Oktoberfest, and there was like 60 kegs, and I went, "Oh my God, I'm home!
Yeah.
This is amazing." Warren Zevon played on our campus. And I was lucky that when I started visiting, my wife is a sexual assault advocate, and she had done the first few Take Back the Night, so she was known. And started going down to Stockton. And when I was in LA with my show Cooper Talk, whenever I had a big guest on my show, I would wear the newer merchandise Stockton shirts, like at Asner in studio, I wore Stockton and whatever. So when I went down there, I sort of treated like a celebrity. I got to sign a university wall, and they gave me all this free swag, and I was just amazed. Like it changed. It was like a dirt road when I went there, and now there's like a big sign, it's Fear of King Avenue, and you pull in, and there's. I found out, this is dating myself. The new dorms, the first year I was there, the new dorms is now, oh, that's the old dorms. But and then there was a big reunion, and I was a little bummed because I walked and they said, Wednesday night from 9 to 12 is quiet time. I'm like, it's college. You don't want to be quiet. You want to party, you want to get good grades, and you want to have fun. But it's changed so much, but I'm really proud of my alma mater because it's a powerhouse and it always gets great rankings. And it was a great school. We were in the middle, as I said, we used to be nestled in the pines and you couldn't go
Yeah.
anywhere. And there was one bar, the Stockton Pub, and then the Arrowhead was two bars, and then Del Redo's opened later, and it was
Oh
just a
my
different
God,
time.
Del
It was the
Rito's.
'80s, and it was amazing. It was so good. As I said, my wife now, I hadn't seen her since 1990 when we ended up meeting up again, and it was just at Stockton. There was something when you went to Stockton, you were someone special. It's like I was on a waiting list at Trenton State. I'm glad I didn't get in there because Stockton changed my life.
Oh, I
That's
love that.
awesome.
I think that's such
Yeah.
a good thing. I hope our friends at Stockton, like Nick and Christina, are watching that so they can hear that Stockton changed my life. That's such a good marketing line.
Oh, absolutely, it
Well,
is.
I'm going to tell you why I changed my life real quick. There was a contest. I was a freshman. It was called Mr. Stockton, and actually the plaque right here, you can see the little plaque under the banner. I entered it as a joke. It was like a Miss America for guys, and I was a freshman. My friends were like, "You want to get into performing? Do it." So I remember I walked out in the swimsuit contest with bright orange shorts, my skinny body all oiled up, and then my talent was a Rick Springfield air guitar to Jesse's Girl, and I made the Atlantic City, whatever the paper was. I made the local news, and I took second, and that gave me the bug to sit there and end up being an entertainer and doing whatever I do all these years later. But
Oh, I love that.
that
Well,
was the point.
let's talk about that. Stand-up comedy, to me, you already touched on this, but that you are an entertainer. That's a fearless business, I think, to get up there and make people laugh and want to. And sometimes it hits, and sometimes it misses. That has got to be adrenaline central when you're in front of an audience that's connecting with you.
Oh, it's amazing. It's funny. Valentine's Day 3 years ago, I had no, it was 6 years. It was during when we got out of the pandemic. I had not been on stage for 2.5 years. When I from '88 to '98, I was on the road 50 weeks a year. And get out of it, but I got back into it. And a friend of mine, Joe Matarese, who's done Letterman, fellow Cherry Hill guy, I was his first boss when I was out of college. He was a high school kid, and he booked the show and he said, "You want to come on?" Now I was sitting there and I was having all these people who were at Coffee with Cooper I've never met in person, and I said I dabble in comedy, and I know if I sucked, they'd be like, "Oh, this guy's full of it. He said he's funny. He's awful." I was so nervous. It was 400 people in the audience. I was so nervous. My Fitbit was like at 180. I'm waiting just my luck. I'll have a stroke. I'll have a stroke walking up to the stage and I'll collapse. And like you said, when you click, which if you're a good comic, and now I perform every few months, I click all the time because I know what the audience gets. But man, I'll tell you, I was nervous. And as soon as I got that first laugh, I kicked into gear into 20 minutes and just crushed it. And it's one of those things. It is a great feeling, but it's for me as I get older. I don't want to travel to do it. I don't want to. I'm all this discipline. When I was younger, I was like, oh, I'll go out every night. I'd rather sit on the couch. Yeah, you want to come to I drove 2 hours to Ephrata a few weeks ago to headline something. And the only reason I went was because it paid really good. That would, if they said, hey, here's $100, I'd be like, I'm not driving 2 hours. The tolls and gas, I'll break even. So it is a great feeling. It's a feeling that I'm sure it's like an athlete or like when someone's a business person gets a great deal. Or with Gina, you all wrote a great article. It's that high. You get done and you pat yourself on the back. And that's what I loved about it.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I think the difference, though, is I don't know if you're familiar with, it's my favorite quote from Dorothy Parker. I hate writing. I love having written. So when, like, I hate the very process of writing and getting all the words screaming out of my head onto the screen. But once it's done and it lands and it hums, but I don't think you look like you legitimately enjoy stand-up comedy. So I don't know that quite if that
Translates.
analog translates for me. I get what you're saying when it lands, but man, sitting there looking at a blank screen terrifies me. Do you get terrified when you look at the audience for the first time, or you just walk out and own it?
I'm always nervous. What's funny about you said about writing is because I have option a screenplay in LA. I write also. And the funny thing is with writers is we sit there and we'll adjust our desk for 2 hours instead of writing. And once we
Yep.
sit down, it just flows. And we sit there and go, why didn't I do this earlier? But
Mm-hmm.
I get nervous before I go on stage. But I think at this point, because I've done it a long time, even though I've been in and out of the business, I know I'm going to control the stage. And and I don't want to sound arrogant, but I know I'm going to go up and I'm going to kill because I know. And if I'm dying, I'll throw an old joke out that may work. I'll do something and I'll talk to the crowd. But I do get nervous. I sit there and go, I'm going to forget stuff. I take notes up with me. I don't look at them, but they're a crutch. I do have that crutch. I used to have everything memorized. But no, but yeah, it's you. Of course, you're going to be a little bit nervous because it's you. You're by yourself. And the thing is, like with
Yeah.
writing, if no one's going to sit there and look at your article and go, oh, I'm never buying it again. Oh, this article sucks. Oh, this guy's a hack. On stage, if you're dying, you get that as you get your check from the owner. They're looking at you like you're like a third class citizen. Here you go. And then you walk out with your tail between your legs. But I do get nervous. But it's a nervous energy where I think I use it to my advantage and I excel in it. But once you get up there, it's like when you write, as you said, once you get to your desk and you start writing, you get in that flow and stuff just comes out. And then that's what it is for me with stand up.
Okay.
How about for your podcast? Do you like think out all your questions ahead of time, or do you just go with the flow of the conversation?
I have never written out questions. I have
Oh
sat there.
wow.
I've done Cooper Talk. I've done 1,057 episodes. I always get people I'm fans of, so I don't have to. When I have '80s musicians, I had Andrew McCluskey from Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, and we talked about the song "If You Leave," and I told a story about Stockton when it was before the internet, so we were leaving each other. It was the same time when I was graduating. And I told him that story and I opened up with that. And he told me how the whole process of writing. And then I think it's because I come from a creative background and stand up. I don't want to write questions. I talk to young podcasters and I mentor a lot of them. And I tell them, I go, guys, man, do your research, but don't over research it
Right.
because when you over research it, it's stale. It's like you sit there. I've had Jack Russell, bless his soul, from Great White. He passed a few years ago. I didn't want to ask him about that whole. They had a big fiasco in Rhode Island where the place blew up and all these people died.
Oh,
I don't do TMZ stuff. I wasn't going to say, but then he just told me a story about how he did angel dust and he shot a maid and all this weird stuff. And I think it flows. So when I do my podcast, I do my research. I have a laptop next to me just to follow their careers. I had Stephanie Hunter from Hunter on a few weeks ago. I never knew she sang with Bob Hope. She told me a story about Bob Hope calling her at her house, and I call them organic chats, not interviews, because I get people on the show that I like. And I'm always humbled that they spend time. How I'm on this right now with you guys looking at you. I sat there with Steven Van Zandt. He was on the screen, and I'm humbled about that. But I sit there and I go, man, I got to bring it up a level. I better ask good questions, but I don't want to write them out because then I think it's canned.
okay.
Yeah, that was in a remarkable interview, and what a get to have him on the show. That was incredible. And I remember being very impressed by that one. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, like this is someone I really admire, you know what I mean? Professionally, musically, all the things. And My friend Steve has him on his show. Like, how cool is that? I was so excited for you. I was like, this is the best day.
I was so nervous because he sits here and it's him. And I'm a huge Springsteen fan, and I'm a Sopranos fan. And I ask him, I go, hey, you're a Jersey guy. I go, tell her pork roll or tell her ham. That was my first to start the conversation. He goes, I don't know. I'm a vegan. I'm saying. And so my first question, I get shot down, and I'm going, "Oh my god!" I just got schooled by Stephen Van Zandt about pork roll, and but it went great from there. He told me so many great stories, and we were on for an hour and 10 minutes, and I mean, it's just amazing. I'm looking at these pictures. Thanks to you. I'm looking. It's funny. When I did a live version of my show in LA, and I just watched the Breakfast Club, which was 41st anniversary, and John Cappuccio, the janitor who I've become friends with, did a live show with me in LA, and the cafe we did it at was owned by the guy who played Damone in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So as an 80s fan, that was like a total like, oh my God, it doesn't get better than this for the 80s.
Right.
Joe, didn't you just post about the Breakfast Club? Someone in my someone did. One of my other.
It was not me.
Was it you? I saw someone the other morning. I'm like, who? I thought, for some reason, I assumed it was Joe. Yes, it was you. I was like, yeah, 41st anniversary. Not my favorite of the John Hughes films.
What's your favorite?
A classic.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Right. An underrated John Hughes film is Some Kind of Wonderful. That is an amazing movie. And
yeah,
that is in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Yes. Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Some Kind of Wonderful. Eric Stoltz, never better.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. And Leah Thompson and Craig Sheffer. I met Craig Sheffer, the guy who plays the real jerk. No, was he in? Yes, he was the real jerk because James Spader was the jerk in Pretty in Pink. I met Eric.
And he was great in that.
Yeah, Eric
James Spader's best work came later.
Eric Shelfer or whatever his name is. I was doing background for this awful movie in LA, and I pitched him on my podcast, and he was a jerk to me. I'm like, dude, come on, who are you? You're doing an awful Lifetime movie when you're in a John Hughes movie. Meanwhile, Matthew Broderick's on Broadway. James Spader's on the Blacklist. Everyone's blown up, and you're just a jerk.
Yeah, no, Some Kind of Wonderful, the earrings, like I probably watched that movie 20 times, but Ferris Bueller's Day Off probably 50, 60 times.
The best is when she goes, there's only 2 things I love, you and my drums. Mary Stuart Masterson, she says that.
Yeah.
Watts. She played Watts. Such a beautiful movie. And I was watching Breakfast Club today, and and I substitute teach a lot, so I'm with kids all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's really amazing that watching it back then when they came out, or even later, you didn't understand the psychology of these kids, but like Bender in Breakfast Club has an awful life at home. I see students who come in with the same shirt 2 days in a row, and I'm like, man, it's like Bender. And these are young kids, and it's really when you watch it. I just watched it, and I'm like, that's I think my next project. I want to direct an adult version on stage of the Breakfast Club with people I network with. So.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that
would be amazing.
Whether you're driving to Ephrata for a comedy show or just across town, you need to make sure your vehicle is insured, and we recommend calling Diversified Insurance.
Yes, and you should see Diversified Insurance for all your commercial and personal insurance needs. They are a value-added firm. They provide unsurpassed service, consult with you to determine your needs, and offer you a choice of insurance plans and programs. They are a value hunter who can find you the best combination of coverage, service, and price. Contact them today at 609-567-7771 or visit their website at diversifiedinsuranceofnj.com.
Or maybe you're feeling a little hungry and you need a snack, or maybe you need to cook a full meal. Head over to Bagley Annie's Market.
That's right, Gina. Bagley Annie's Market, they always say we treat our customers like family with a variety of custom cut meats, farm fresh produce, delicious cheeses, a full deli, and more. Bagley Annie's Market has something for everyone. They are famous for their wide variety of authentic Italian specialty products. Try their Italian bread and rolls, prepared foods, and homemade pasta. Follow their social media for weekly loyalty reward promos. Bagley Annie's Market is located at 417 12th Street in Hammonton. Call 609-561-0693 or visit Facebook and Instagram for more information.
Steve, is there a New Jersey myth that you believe with your whole heart, even though you've lived out of town, out of state? Is there one that like, yep, that is definitely true about New Jersey?
I want to believe that there's a Jersey Devil. I really want to believe. Yeah. When I was little, when I was in first or second grade, elementary school, we went overnight trip to Mount Misery. Now, I don't know where Mount Misery is. It's a camp somewhere. And they taught us about the Jersey Devil. And years later, in which I also, in my interview with David Duchovny, from the X-Files, they did an episode on the Jersey Devil. And it was awful because it wasn't like what we grew up. Like the Jersey Devil was a web feet, half devil boy.
Yeah.
And this was like some jungle kid with a hairy back running around. That's not the Jersey Devil. I really wish it was a Jersey Devil. It's like when I lived in LA, it was the Chupacabra. I came from Mexico. The Chupacabra.
Yeah.
I honestly, you don't know. I could see he's Jimmy Leeds, like 12th son, some weird thing, but you don't know. But it's a myth. But I wish it was true. I wish I was sitting there one time and went, "Oh my God, that's not a squirrel. That's the Jersey Devil's kid." So that's the myth that I would love because I don't really know a lot of other myths about New Jersey. I guess there's a lot of them, but I know the Jersey Devil. But what are some other myths about New Jersey?
There are different spots that are said to be haunted. There's a Acco ghost.
The Atco Ghost, yeah.
There's a
The
tree
Acco
that
goes Sunday. You're like, oh.
That's right.
there's some really scary roads that are said to be haunted. There is
Yeah, somewhere up in North Jersey is supposed to be, I believe, the most haunted stretch of road in the United States or something like that. You go with your headlights off and no one ever sees you again. It probably because you run off the road.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is documented in that magazine, like Weird NJ. There's a lot of great myths about hauntings and stuff.
a more modern one is that all sports betting is done legally now in New Jersey. I think that could be another myth.
That's a myth.
And then there's the myth of the flying cannoli in Hammonton. So that's always a myth. Everyone knows the cannoli will fly down and come to your dinner. It hasn't happened to me, but because I'm in Marlton, but I'm waiting for it.
Steve and I once had a heated debate about whether or not cannoli were delicious or not, and we almost lost our friendship about it. But
no. Okay, Gina, you are wrong. It was never they were delicious. No, I have never talked bad about a cannoli. I just say they're extremely overrated. I never said a cannoli's bad. It's so funny. I thought of you. I made feast of seven fishes on Christmas Eve because my wife's Italian and my mother-in-law came over, and she brought cannolis. I never said cannolis are bad. Cannolis are
overrated is
such a extremely. I'll take a tiramisu and Italian rum cake over a cannoli any day. A cannoli it's like a tasty cake crimpet with a hard shell. It's nothing amazing. They're good. They're a fine dessert. But I'll tell you something. If I was trying to impress someone, I wouldn't take a cannoli. If it was a first date and my date ordered a cannoli, I'd be like, there's chocolate mousse. There's upside down pineapple cake. You're getting a cannoli? So I never said they're bad. I just think they're extremely overrated. And when I went to the Hammonton, the feast of
Mount Carmel,
Mount
so hot. You let me park. It was like 100 degrees. And I did get a cannoli, and it was good. It was good, but I got a cannoli because my wife wanted it. I would have gone with a chocolate mousse cake or a pound cake. I'll take pound cake over pound cake, the most underrated dessert. Pound cake is amazing, but Gina took it wrong, guys. She thought I hated it.
I don't know. I think Joe's kind of okay. Joe, are you okay? Are you?
No, I am feeling many feelings. Many of them are conflicting. And I am trying to be polite because I like our guest. I enjoyed his work when it was in the entertainment section, and he's fun, but he's also wrong. I will agree with you that pound cake is one of the most underrated desserts. Pound cake is absolutely delicious. But insofar as cannoli being overrated, I will posit that you simply haven't had the right cannoli yet to change your mind. Because there are a lot. Oh, there are completely a spectrum. There are some places where you go and we've got cannoli on the menu. You really shouldn't. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. What are you doing? But there are other places. Yeah, there are other places where it's like I've had them all over up and down Italy, and in Hammonton are some of the best cannoli I've ever had. It all depends on the quality of the cream, the quality of the shell. So it's a matter of personal choice. That's fine. I'm not a huge fan of chocolate mousse cake. I'm with you on tiramisu. Fantastic. But you and I are going to have to agree to disagree on this one because I think you just haven't had it from the right people.
I've had it, but Joe is right. He called it cannoli, and I was wrong. I called it cannolis. The plural for cannolis is cannoli.
Is cannoli.
It's cannolo.
Singular is cannolo.
It's Canada.
That's right.
Like, but you're right.
Wow.
I've had great cannoli, but as I'm saying, A great cannoli to me is just average. It's a shell with some cream. I'm sorry, people. I don't want to piss the people off. Your sponsors at Bagliardi, which is a great place. I stopped by there. They have great, an Italian deli. You can't go wrong. There's one in
No, it's
Area
amazing.
called Croce's. They're so good. They find stuff that you're like, wow, like stuffed red peppers with mozzarella. It's, oh my God. But I won't change my mind. I respect the cannoli lover. I respect them. I will never, I'll be a cannoli liker. Like I would date a cannoli. I wouldn't marry a cannoli. And that's
There you go. We're going to go out, but we're not. It's not going to be long term.
exactly.
That's it. It's not going to be long term.
Okay.
I'm glad we've settled that, though.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
Gabe. I'm sorry.
No, all I was gonna say is it must be a food thing. First Van Zant with Taylor, pork roll, or and now this with the cannoli. It's a food thing. But I was going to ask. I mean, I'm going down a list of. You said you've done more than 1,000 podcasts, and the guests that you've had are really great. Amy Hill, who was on Magnum PI, Chris Sarandon, who was of course in The Princess Bride, Ali Walker from Profiler, Dizzy Reed, the keyboardist for Guns N' Roses, and Uncle Kracker, just to name a few. Just to name a few recently. I have to say,
Coronemic too.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a lot of people that you've met through this, and you mentioned a little bit about the best experiences, the worst experiences. I'm interested a little bit in just the workman-like middle of the road experiences. You may never get asked this question, which is, what is it like to get these people on who have had some measure of fame, and now some of them are still doing it, some of them have done it, and it's maybe been a while since they've had but a lot of these guests are what I'd call people who have been famous and have that 15-minute of fame, and now you're talking with them. What is it like to interact with these people? The ones that want to be on your podcast and are really eager to have you interview them and have them have some exposure?
It's funny. So there's been a lot of people I've interviewed and their careers have just blown up. Nate Bargatze, before he became Nate Bargatze, I got him through. I heard he was a good comic, and I reached out to him on Facebook, and
yeah, he's great.
And then I had the guy who was the father on Young Sheldon. He had lost out on Mike and Molly because they wanted to go not chubby, heavier, so they got Melissa McCarthy and Billy Gardell. The line I come across with all of them is any of them, and even the big stars, they never have job security. They sit there, they always know they're looking for the next thing. I also host I host a few other podcasts, but one's called Coop's Comedy Corner, where I have comics and TV writers. And this guy, Eddie Feldman, who's won 5 Emmys for writing for Dennis Miller, he goes, I was a head writer for a show for 9 years. He goes, but I'm always looking for that next job. They're all just, and I can say this honestly, I've never had a jerk. 1,050, whatever. Everyone's been so nice and kind. They're normal people. They're like us because you know what? To them, it's their job. They've been doing it. Some have been doing it for 40, 50 years. So there's difference. Like a guy who sells copiers has the same experience as a guy, these actors. And what amazes me is people don't talk about, they always sit there and go, oh, Hollywood and all the money, the rejection they get. They get more rejection than any salesperson. My friend said he was out for an audition, Patrick Fabian, who was in Better Call Saul, and he kept getting turned down for works, but he got that role. But he walked in the room and he saw all these people who were like Emmy winners and Oscar nominated, and they're auditioning. So they're so humble, and they're just thankful. And that's why I see people go, oh, this person's a jerk. Do you know them? You don't know them. You don't know.
Right.
Maybe you got them a bad day, but I think because they've gotten older, they really appreciate it. They appreciate the fans. And now all these conventions are coming out, which they love because it's an homage to them. And Stephanie Kramer from Hunter, she was like, she had just done a panel with Fred Dreyer in a Hollywood show. And she said, the fans, they line up to get the autographs. And it's just cool. It's like I interviewed the guy who started UB40. Him and his brother left, But I got lucky that we were backstage. I was comped to the show. Me and my wife had backstage passes. And I go backstage, and Robin Campbell pours me a glass of red wine. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm drinking red wine with a guy from UB40. And he was so nice. He was, because we told him how we were just the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he told us the whole story how he lent them guitar. He lent them the guitar, but they wanted it. And he's, I'm not giving you my guitar. It's my first guitar. And he's, I'm still trying to get it back. But that's the thing. I like when they tell you stories. And I ask them, my thing I started in the last 2 years, I ask them, what are they proud of? And you think like they'll be proud of having a TV show, but a lot of them are like that my acting paid for my kid to go to college. They're just normal people. And that's the thing I love about all the guests. Rock stars, they're still just, no, they're not. They're older and they just like, yeah, they've lived a crazy decadent life, which besides cannolis irritating me when people say rock star in the business world. No, you aren't a rock star. You're selling HR. That's not being a rock star.
Right.
Rock stars are trashing hotel rooms, which makes no sense that they do that. But yeah, they're just all good people. And that's I get out of an interview and I feel good. And if it's someone my wife likes, I'll say, hey, Joanne, come here. And she'll meet like Amy Hill. She's a fan of Amy Hill, or Allie Walker, or Kate Flannery, or different people. So they're all just great people.
And do you have I was going to say, a selection process, like how you go about saying that's someone I want to get, this is someone I want to get, or is a lot of times it's just serendipity?
I was sitting there watching TV. Like this guy, Mike Panuski, was just on. And we were watching a show on Netflix called His and Hers. And I'm like, I've seen that guy a lot. He's a good actor. I've seen him on The Good Wife and Law and Order Criminal 10. So I look him up on Facebook. I send him a message. 3 days later, he's on my show. If I see people, I go, oh, I like that. My wife likes Hallmark movies. And I got turned down by one woman who was pretty big and Hallmark down. I'm like, yeah, it happens. But I'll hear a song on the radio. I'll go, you know what? I want to get that person. Or I get pitched. I get a lot of PR people, which is always funny. They pitch me like, I'm like, you don't listen to my show because you're pitching me some 22-year-olds playing out of Tacoma. I wouldn't get anything about them. Because I have my certain demographic. It's for people like me, 80s people, the 45 and up crowd that sit there and love the 80s music, love classic rock, watch TV, and I like character actors. So they just pop in my head. Like sometimes I'll go, oh, I gotta reach out to people, or I'll see someone was on another podcast and I'll send them a message. So I have no process. I just go, I want this person.
Well, it seems to work for you.
How about when it comes to your networking events? How do you plan those out? What goes into that?
Honestly, nothing. And I hate to say that because I see people people are sitting there. I see all these new networking events. Oh, they're giving all these, this is the ecosystem of networking and this and this. I'm like, you know what? I posted on LinkedIn. Now, Coffees with Cooper's been going for 2.5 years. Once again, the first event there, we had 15 people. I was so ecstatic. I'm like, oh my God. But after a year and a half, I said, you know what? I got to make money on this. So I started getting sponsors and I just put it up there and we get 55 to 80 people. And I think it's something where, and Gina from networking, or you guys, that's why Hammonton's different. I go to the Hammonton Happy Hour once in a while and everyone's nice in Hammonton. You're not idiot influenced yet. There's people who haven't come down there. In this area, there's a lot of idiots. And for some reason, they don't come to my events. And I love it. I don't know. Maybe they sit there. If you're pushing cards, I shut them down. But I promote it. And I think it's like anything. 2.5 years going, people know it's good. I thought before I'm going to stop doing this. But for me, I do it. I don't do it for me anymore. I don't even really network. I got hired to host another podcast with a lawyer. We're produced by a company in Beverly Hills. And I do substitute teach. And I did a networking event, but I don't really need to network anymore. But I do it because I want people to have an avenue where they don't have to pay. They can come and they don't have to join something. They can just come. As I always say, it's 250 beers. If you have a beer, if you don't like it, leave. That's all. So I promote it. I think it's just word of mouth, like anything in business. It's word of mouth. And I don't know what makes my event great, but I'll tell you, people love it. And that means so much to me that my name's connected to it. So it has to be good.
Do you see mostly the same people, or do you see a continuing rotation of new people come to the events?
I get a lot of new people. I get people who will show up every few months because there's always stuff going on. I've learned if you have kids, there's sports going on and you can't get out and stuff like that. And I always get new people. I always go up and greet whoever came in. And they don't know who I am. One guy's like, yeah, how you doing? And was a total jerk to me. And I'm like, all right. And then an hour later, hey, I didn't know you were Coop. I'm like, dude, you blew it already.
Yeah. Too late.
But no, they come up and I always find out, they go, oh, I was in my BNI meeting and someone said this is good, or I just heard about it, or I saw, and now Splits, where I do it, puts on the sign, Cocktails with Cooper, and the big billboards. So we drive down Route 73. I always thought my comedy would get me on a billboard, which I've been on billboards, but like live bait and Steve Cooper. But no, but it's just word of mouth, and I do get a lot of new people, and some people show up, and some people may not like it, but I think people. The guy Matt McDevitt said, "Man, I get so much business out of you from all your networking events." I'm like, I should have got 10%, man. I should have got 10%. But
when is your next event?
It'll be March 4th. It's always the first Wednesday of every month at Splits Bar and Grill at Laurel Lanes in Route 73 in Maple Shade.
And it's from what time? It's 4 to 6?
4 to 7.
4 to 7.
It used to be 4:30, but I get there at 4. And all these people started showing up, so I just said it starts at 4. And then actually people hang out sometimes to do karaoke. It's amazing. We get waves of people. So it's a good event, and you're going to meet people, and it's great for brand awareness.
And there's no charge, just pay your own tab.
Yeah, it's not. And it's like I said, 250 beers. They have a $5 quesadilla that is awesome. They have $5 cannolis. I'm joking, but that's so you can come.
This is our bit for the rest of our life, Steve.
Yeah,
yeah, I know. No, but it's just fun, and you meet good people, and that's what happens. My last one, I had 5 female sponsors. We raised $400 for a Maria Grande's nonprofit called A Woman's Worth, and it raised for people starting over. A woman who just was in a domestic situation and she left and she was starting over. We raised $400 on a 50-50. We raised $200 and the guy actually raised $198. Someone only paid $8 for tickets. I don't know how that happened, but the guy who won threw it all back in the pot. So it's just, nice. I do them every once in a while. I've done it for ALS, but it's a fun event, and it's good, and you'll meet good people.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
How about where you're going to be performing next? Where can people find you?
I have a gig the last Thursday in February. That's a Soundplex where I would have my comedy show. I used to do Cocktails and Connections, which was networking and comedy. I'm opening for a guy new in LA. He's taping a special, and they want a really strong opener. I usually headline. That'll be in February, but I don't really have many gigs. I'm going to be headlining Comedy Night, Steve Cooper and Friends at Splits, and I sit there. I love performing, but I don't go on my way to get gigs. So nothing big. There's Cooper Talk, which is coopertalk.net. You can go and find 1,056 episodes. That's how you catch them. And email me at the cooptank@yahoo.com. And Gina was on my old podcast, The Coop Tank, which was one earworthy best local podcast. I used to have a 200 episodes of that where I had local business people like this. We'd have four people I'd moderate, and we would talk about business and entrepreneurship and all that stuff. I might start it again as an audio version, but I don't know.
It takes up a lot of time, the editing, getting it right. I can understand if you're busy. You're now shaping young minds in schools.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's something.
These kids, they crack me up. They all tattle. I tell them,
really?
They all, oh my God, it's disgusting. I'm like,
snitches end up in ditches. Don't they know that?
Snitches at least.
I said, did someone hurt you? No. Okay, what happened? They always go, they'll sit there and I'll be like, he's on the Chromebook. And I'll go, I said, whatever he's doing, why does that make a difference to you? I said, what you need to do is worry about you. And I'm like the cool sub because I'm nice, but I'm firm. And I always threaten them with my list. I go, I got my Epstein list. No, I go, it's the Cooper list. It's the Cooper list. And I go, I never put anyone on the list. I never turn it in, but I always go, and the kids come up, am I on the list? And I go, do you think you're on the list? I don't know. I said, are you behaving? Yes. I said, you're not on the list. But the kids are great. Kids, they remind me of the Breakfast Club when he said, they haven't changed, you have, he says to the principal. And it's true. Kids are just kids, and the parents have changed. Yeah. The kids are still going to be the same. They're innocent. They're smart. They want to learn. I'm blind in one eye. They always go, what happened to your eye? And I go, a kid asked me, and I ended up going blind in it. And then they get quiet. But they're inquisitive, they're precocious, and that's what they're supposed to be. They're kids. And I see teachers who are just so mean, or teachers just don't talk to these kids. It fascinates me that the whole talking to these kids and finding out what their favorite food is and whatever, and just how life is different. Because I grew up, there's no internet and stuff like that. So it's been a great experience. I'm writing a kid's book called The Guy About the Eye, about me being blind in one eye and being a lazy eye, and the acceptance from a kid to now. I'm working at them. It has to be 32 pages. I'm 26 pages. And and then I want to start a new class for kids about public speaking because they're all afraid to talk. They don't, because they're in front of their tablet all day, and they went through the pandemic.
The phones or whatever,
Yeah.
tablet.
I want to do that. I want to sit there and go, make the kids get up. I have kids read, they write, and they write these great things, except the words, they don't spell always the best when they're in second grade,
Yeah,
but
but
they
no.
read it and
Okay. All
they
right.
go like
So
this. Blah, 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 blah. No, you wrote something great. Be proud of it. Like performing, read it. So
yeah,
it's been invaluable, and I love it. I didn't think I'd want to do it, and I do it 5 days a week. Teachers call me to pick up their class because the kids like me, and it's one of those things I love. And I'm thinking I should have been a teacher, but I would never had a podcast. I would never be on this show if I was a teacher because you guys
But
wouldn't
you're
go.
doing
I
it
would never
now.
met you. I
yeah.
would never met you. I would never been.
Yeah.
But looking back, it's teachers are it's such they're so valuable, and there's crappy teachers and there's amazing teachers, and I'm sure you guys all remember a teacher who's really good that you sit there and really sticks out to you. And I had a girl from Ghana. I'll share this real quick as I ramble. She gave me this thing, and you can see it. It's a little.
Oh, heart.
And I asked her. I didn't know how to pronounce her name, and I screwed it up. And she told me in Ghana how it was two consonants together would sound like this. And I got it right. And she goes, "Thank you so much." She goes, "Most subs discount." And she wrote, "Dear Mr. Cooper, thank you for being a nice, cool, and totally awesome sub. Your student," I won't say her name, but yeah, that's the stuff. I always get little pictures drawn for me, and it's amazing. It's a great feeling. You wake up, you go, you come home with pictures, and then it's great.
I will say that the other day we were at Gabe's mom's house and she was giving him some stuff and something was from his first grade teacher. And it was Gabe had spoke at the class 20 some odd years ago. So I took a picture of it and I Facebook messaged her the picture. And I just love that I could reach out to Gabe's teachers like that because I'm friendly with them all or are on Facebook. She's like, "Oh, one of my favorites." And I'm like, that makes me feel so good, Gabe. She responded right away, knew exactly what the image was.
Yeah,
And I love
Cooper,
that.
it was a lot like what you said. It was a drawing associated with a little written thing about thanks for coming to our class, and there was a little drawing of myself and Gina. I think I feel
I
like it
wasn't going
was
to mention that.
both
Yeah.
of us. It makes you warms your heart, and it was something that was saved and someone gave to me. Now this is going back 25 years, and I still have it, so it's a
It's
good feeling.
it's amazing, but I did have one problem. This girl says, "Can I tell a joke?" And I said, "Sure." And she got up and she goes, "What did one pencil say to another pencil? Looking sharp. Funny joke." And then she was like, "Oh, that's Olivia's joke." And I was like, "You're a joke thief." I told her that. I go, "You're a joke thief. Rule one of show business: never take anyone's material." So I sent her to the principal. Look at that now. No, they are amazing. They remember this stuff, and we remember. My teacher was Dr. Dwyer, and I wrote a paper about how to give a wedgie. It was a how to, and it was a comedy piece. And he said, "This is really funny," and that's why I ended up following the pursuit of comedy. And I've written for people and stuff like that. That it means a lot. And teachers are so important, and they're underpaid. Not in my district, but in a lot of places are very underpaid.
Yeah, you were encouraged by your teachers, which was important. And I love the idea of having, because it sounds like you mostly deal with elementary age students.
Yeah, I'm mostly K-5 and occasionally 7th, 6th, and 7th.
I love the idea of a public speaking class for children in that age, because I've said for years, humanity hasn't changed. The only thing that has changed in our lifetimes is the technology. We're still the same people. We're still the same humans that we were 100 years ago. And even without the influence of tablets and without the influence of phones and Chromebooks and so forth, when we were in school, there were children who were absolutely terrified to get up and speak. When it was their turn to read out loud, they stuttered and shook because they were just paralyzed with fear. And I taught college age students for a while, and I had students who were terrified to speak in front of class. So having a class where kids learn the basics of public speaking and maybe not to be so nervous about it, I don't think people realize how vital a skill that is, not just to get through the rest of whatever your academic career may be, but in life in general. If you can't speak in front of people, and a lot of people can't, that hinders you a great deal.
Yeah.
It's true, and people don't do it. So it'd be a 2-day workshop, whatever I can make money on. I'm easy. I'm joking.
So much for altruism.
Hell with that. As long as it lines in my pocket. I gotta do something this summer. School's off. I gotta make some money.
That's great.
Steve, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on the Jersey Oddcast. It's always a pleasure, and I am hoping to make it to the March 4th event. just because I haven't seen you in person in a long time, and I think it'll be fun to get back together. But thank you so much for joining us. I do want to take a moment to recognize our sponsor, Demeglio Septic and Quality Sanitation.
Demeglio Septic and Quality Sanitation are here for a variety of services, including septic pump out, grease trap service, high pressure jetting, portable toilets, and more. Call 609-561-3597 or go to DemeglioSeptic.com for Demeglio Septic, or call 609-561-4666 for quality sanitation. Experience the Demeglio difference, a promise of superior service, quality, and reliability.
That was a fantastic interview with Steve
It was.
Cooper. I am
Yeah, it
so
was.
glad he joined us.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
As we get through February, there are more events popping up on our community calendar.
Yes, and the Rocco's Townhouse community calendar is sponsored by Rocco's Townhouse, who pride themselves on being a spot where everyone can meet and eat. Delicious appetizers, entrees, burgers, and more, along with a full bar and plenty of craft beers on tap. Remember, everyone meets at the Townhouse, 21 North 3rd Street in Hammonton. Call them at 609-561-9384 or visit roccostownhouse.com. And now the Rocco's Townhouse community calendar, brought to you by Rocco's Townhouse, where great food meets great company right in the heart of Hammonton. Let's see what's happening around town. Galentine's Day, which, I mean, I still feel we should push for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we should.
Hi.
Sunday, February 22nd from 2 to 4 p.m. is Galentine's Day at the Newfield Senior Center. Crafting, desserts, games, prizes, and this year they're adding a flower bouquet bar. Tickets are $28 and it benefits the Newfield Recreation Committee. Grab your gals and go. Dine to Donate is Monday, February 23rd. Head over to Marquez Restaurant and Bar on Egg Harbor Road and support the Hammonton Education Foundation. It's all day, lunch or dinner, dine in or take out, and 10% of your bill goes back to the HEF, HEF, Hammonton Education Foundation. Good food, good cause, easy decision. Seat Swap, Wednesday, February 25th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., hosted by the Hammonton Green Committee at the Canoe Club at Hammonton Lake Park. Gardeners and plant lovers bring seeds, swap seeds, grow something new. It's wholesome, it's productive, it's very South Jersey. So is How to Hunt the Jersey Devil, which came up in our interview with Steve Cooper. Saturday, February 28th at 2 p.m. at DeMatteo Vineyards, author Tony DiGirolamo, yes, that Tony from The Simpsons and Politically Incorrect, is talking all things Jersey Devil, folklore, monsters, Pine Barren legends, and maybe tips on how not to get eaten by Mother Leeds' 13th child. If you love Jersey weird, this one's for you. Finally, Hearts and Tarts, an Alice in Wonderland tea party, Saturday, February 28th at 1 p.m. at the Vineland Historical and Antiquarian Society Museum. A whimsical afternoon of tea, treats, and literary magic. Mad Hatter vibes encouraged. That's your Rocco's Townhouse community calendar, keeping you connected to the people, places, and events that make this area what it is. If you've got an event, send it our way. We'll see you out there.
Sign me up for all of it.
Great stuff.
It is. It
So-
A lot
definitely
of fun.
is. And I think we all need to learn how not to get eaten by Mother Leeds' 13th child, although
For
I would
sure.
say simply stay out of the woods. But
You know, last week Gabe texted me and Dawson died. And I was like, oh. And of course, we'll talk about James Vanderbeek. And if you know me, I was a huge Dawson's Creek fan. Humongous. Loved it. Must watch TV for me. I loved it. I got one of my friends from college hooked on it. You hear the song from Paula Cole, boom, like, yeah. I love Dawson, Joey, Pacey, give me the whole thing. Even when Busy Phillips joined it, I was like, okay, that's fine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, such a great show, and to see him pass away such close in age to me, it
Yeah.
was really shocking.
Yeah, 48 years old. It's sobering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 kids. How'd you
It's
feel?
nice to see Hollywood stepping up
Yeah.
to donate the money. I think people have been, like Steven Spielberg and others, have donated an incredible amount of money to
Yeah.
try and support the family in the wake of the tragedy. And I just think it's when you think about 48 years old, you think about the show and what it was 30 years ago, and you realize no one stays 18 forever and life goes on. But Varsity Blues also, let's
Yeah.
talk about that. There's a movie that now you could say is more than a cult classic. I think people really look at that movie now as a pretty seminal sports movie.
Oh, I think so.
So he headlined that and was excellent in it. So it's a real loss. I think a lot of people were also surprised at how close he was with people who like Alfonso Rivero.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
that one got
realize.
me.
I think Hollywood can be a small town, and I think you never know who meets who along the way and who's friends and this sort of thing. But Alfonso showed up at the end, and it's a touching, very touching photo.
Yeah. I liked his lesser known work. Like I loved he had a bit part in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. It
Yes.
was
Hmm.
hysterical in that he had a brief cameo in one of the scary movies. I think it was the first scary movie where like the Paula Cole song is playing in the background and he climbs through the window and is like, oops, wrong set, and it just goes away. I I loved those that they were self-deprecating and they were like, yeah, you know what? I thought he was great with those. And of course, Varsity Blues, because
Well,
we all went to school. Everybody who lives in a small town that has a football team, we all went to school with those people. You could watch Varsity Blues, and I don't care what class you were in, you could point to this person and say, that was this guy and this guy. And that's why it hit so well. And he was great as Mox in it.
yeah, and then there was the TV show, right?
Don't Trust
Don't
to Be in
trust.
Apartment 23.
That was short-lived, but a very funny show. And
Yeah.
again, it's a loss to, of course, tragic loss to his wife and children, but also for all of us who even tangentially came in contact with the pop culture and the entertainment side, it's a sobering moment when you have people who are your sort of contemporaries
Yeah.
in that field go passing away. That's that's the real. It gives you pause.
Yes.
And then Wuthering Heights is out. Jacob Elordi, Margot Robbie, new take on it. They've changed some things. It's not my favorite Bronte book, but like I've read it. I've seen at least one version of the movie. I don't know that I need a new one.
No, I read it because it was assigned to me in high school. I believe it was in Tekla Volpe's class. We all had to read Wuthering Heights, and I remember very little about the novel except somebody wandering the moors all the time.
He-
Yeah, and I have no desire to see the film, so report back if you see it. I like Margot Robbie. She's a very varied actress. Yeah, very versatile. So maybe when it comes streaming, but I just it doesn't really strike me very much.
Gabe, do you have any desire?
No, I agree with the comment that Margot Robbie is versatile. Anyone who can play Harley Quinn and then do Wuthering Heights, you're versatile,
Yeah.
and everything in between, Wolf of Wall Street, etc.
Was she
But I
Barbie
think,
too?
yes,
What was that?
right?
Was
She
she
was
Barbie?
Barbie. She played Barbie.
Yes, she was.
She
Yeah.
played Barbie.
Yeah, Barbie to
Yeah,
Kathy or
credit where credit's due, but I don't know that it's something I go out of my way to see. No.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm still not over the Pride and Prejudice from 20 some odd years ago with Keira Knightley. The one with Colin Firth from the BBC multi-part miniseries was perfection. Don't mess with perfection. Could you imagine like recasting The Godfather? No, we don't do that. We none of that is needed.
Not yet. Just it's Hollywood.
Bite your tongue.
Before you say
Bite
it
your tongue.
never will happen,
When
just
you yeah,
remember.
when you consider how many say Dracula films there have been. Incidentally, this past weekend Dracula turned 95. It premiered in February of 1931, February 12th, I believe, in New York.
Nerd.
Dracula is now, hey,
Right.
that's cool. It's 95 years old. But think about
Yep.
how many different cinematic versions of Dracula there has been.
And remember, look. Let's face it. Star Trek. Everyone, Shatner's Kirk, right? Because it
No.
got recast and things
Chris
change,
Pine,
and
right?
that's
Yeah,
right.
and
He was
and then
amazing. Love him.
and then
Well, there you go.
Paul Stanley, I think, is his last name. I think, and I'm going to lose my nerd card for this because I can't remember his last name. But he's been playing Kirk in Strange New Worlds.
I have not.
There you go.
So yeah, so I don't know.
Batman films.
Whether you're going to the movies to see Wuthering Heights or staying home to stream the latest from Star Trek, you should be wearing your Oddcast gear or drinking out of an Oddcast mug or cup.
Oh, you should always be drinking out of your Oddcast mug. Absolutely. You head out and about, wear a hat, because we've got so much that you can buy and so much that you can wear. We got tumblers, magnets for your fridge, t-shirts with good Lord. T-shirts with exclusive designs. We have 3 new designs for the winter: a classic crew neck sweatshirt, a pullover hoodie, a zip-up hoodie, and you can find all that and maybe more, who knows, at jersey-oddcast.printify.me.
Thank you. We talked about a couple of different public hearings that are coming up for Egg Harbor City and for Hammonton, and that kind of made me think, what should we do for an poll? And it gave me an idea. Let's be honest. There are certain phrases that change the entire temperature of a room when we're at a town government meeting. You could feel it. There's a shuffling of papers. There's maybe that little bit of leaning in chairs. Maybe I'm overthinking this. But what do you think the most powerful phrase in local government is when you're at a meeting like the ones we've talked about? Is it public comment is now open, when everyone suddenly becomes a constitutional scholar, or at least a scholar for their community? Is it the this is federally funded, which somehow ends every argument and is a justification? Is it this we'll revisit this next meeting, aka the sequel nobody asked for, and this is how we're going to put off discussing this really sensitive topic? Or is it motion to table when we just end the conversation, period? Which one makes you sit up straight or roll your eyes? Let me know.
Public comment is now open. That's the one, because it's a real crapshoot. You get some individuals who really know what they're talking about, and that is not always the case with everyone, and including myself. I've gone up and I made a fool out of myself here and there, I'm sure, with public comment. But that's the one where it's always like, you know what? Okay, this meeting has been going along. It's been humming. We're going to get out in 45 minutes. All right, opportunity for the public to be heard. Now we're here for another 4 hours. That's always the one for me.
Yeah. It just hits molasses in January.
Yeah.
What's yours, Gabe? Is that yours too?
No, I think for me it's not on there, but I'm going to go with motion to table. But the one that's not on there is an oldie but a goodie. But I make a motion to send something to committee. That always is a classic.
That's a motion to table, basically.
That was a classic. Motion. I'll take, in lieu of that, I'll take a motion to table. And it just, you always say to yourself, yes, that's the end of that.
Yep.
Everything
dies in committee.
I'm going to go with this is federally funded, because whether it's a $1 million project and they're only getting $15,000, this is federally funded. No, the local taxpayers is still paying the other $900,000. That's not just enough a reason. You need to explain it more. How much is federally funded? How much is coming out of the local dollars? And the federally funded is still funded by my pocketbook.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's still funded by me and you and everyone else in the room, and those at home who didn't feel like coming to the room. What are you going to do? But those are my questions. If you are getting ready to do a major clean out of your home or business, or if you have need for a regular dumpster service, please call the Grasso family at United Roll-Off.
That's right, Gina. Looking for fast, reliable dumpster service? Call United Roll-Off Service and Recycling LLC. Family owned by the Grasso family and proudly serving South Jersey since 1999. 3 generations strong, United Roll-Off is your local solution for household cleanouts, construction debris, concrete, and yard waste, with 11, 20, and 30-yard dumpsters ready when you need them. Serving Hammonton and all of Atlantic, Burlington, Camden, Cumberland, and Gloucester counties, they've got the size, service, and local touch you can trust. Visit them at 735 Wiltseys Mill Road, Hammonton, or call 609-561-8287 to get started today. United Roll-Off, local, loyal, and ready to haul.
So for Oddcast Odd Fact this week, I wanted to go something a little spooky. And I found the Devil's Tree in Bernards Township. It is a lone oak standing in a field in Somerset County, long surrounded by eerie folklore. Stories say misfortune, even death, can follow anyone who damages or mocks a tree. Over the years, it has been vandalized, prompting officials to at one time put a fence around it. Maybe the fence was from Master Wire, who knows? Some
Yeah.
residents also insist that no matter how harsh the winter is, the soil beneath that tree never freezes. And there are some that say if you put your hand up on the tree, it always feels warm.
Just don't touch the tree. Stay away from the
Yeah.
tree. Like they've been warning you for
Buddy.
100 years. This tree is haunted. Okay. Thank you. You
Nick,
got it.
I don't
Yeah,
need to go there. I will never
why
now
touch
go to Bernard's Township. There's no
Yeah.
reason.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, okay. The whole township's on the shelf.
It's I'm putting it on the shelf, Gabe. It's permanently on Gina's shelf. I'm afraid.
Yeah. I don't even want to
I
be
don't know.
in shade cast by that tree. No, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm good.
not a fan. Not a
No,
fan at
don't.
all.
Seems a bit much. Just avoid the tree. You could still go to the township, I think.
We'll see. Joe, if I want to take a ride to Somerset County this week, what is the weather going to be like?
I have no idea what the weather up in Somerset County is going to be like. But if you're asking around here, it sounds like it is time for the Oddcast forecast, according to the app on my smartphone and sponsored by Ben Castone Landscaping. Call Ben Castone for all your landscaping needs at 609 561 3452. They're here to keep your yard looking great no matter what the season, and it's going to be nice. It's going to be very nice.
Yes.
Oh. Wednesday,
Finally.
there's a possibility of some rain in the morning. Who cares? It's going to be mostly cloudy and clearing later in the evening. High of 49, low of 38, not going below freezing.
Nice.
Thursday, we're looking at clouds. High of 46, low of 37, again, not going below freezing. Friday, a possibility of rain showers. High of 48, low of 39, which means that by end of day Friday, most of all of whatever is left of this snow, including much of the mounds, will be history. So I'm really
And
looking forward
every
to
middle
that.
school boy will be wearing shorts.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Yep. I saw people wearing shorts out the weekends where it was in single digits. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why
I
do we miss?
appreciate the Ben Castone Oddcast forecast because always good to know and good to have good warm weather for us.
Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be good stuff. And that's it. It's been another episode of the Jersey Oddcast. Find us online at jerseyoddcast.com. Find us on social media. And thanks again to our friend Steve Cooper for joining us today.
Yes. Yeah. You were fun. Thank you.
It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.